Hey guys, it's Zaisha from Cloud Tree Productions. So, I really love Hazbin Hotel. I love listening to the songs. I enjoy watching the art style as it reminds me of my own. It just brings me so much joy. In fact, I was so excited for season 2, and season 2 just got me so happy when I watched it. I love the show so much. But the show isn't flawless. In fact, it has a lot of haters. A lot might be an understatement. But yeah, there are some problems like the pacing, some of the story. I mean, there are some parts of the stories that I do like. And there are some hated characters. For me, Emily is kind of boring and a bit overrated. I'm not going to get into that in this video because I do not want an angry mob after me. So anyways, and also there is the character designs, which do have problems. Like, everyone is skinny, everyone has red. Not really a flawless show. And so many people have done rewrites, redesigns, AUs, just their own interpretations of the show. Now, I could have done my own AU. I could have redesigned and rewrote the show. But you know what I did instead? I decided to write an entire different show that is still based on hell, but isn't based on Hazbin Hotel in any way. Oh my god. I love this so much. What is wrong with me? So yeah, like any sane person, I am making a completely entire different universe based on hell. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the characters and what the story would be like. Just know that I do not think my show is objectively better than Hazbin Hotel. It probably won't be. But this is all just for fun, and I hope you enjoy the video. So, time to get into the characters of Sails Across the Pentagram. So, the first character is my main character, and his name is Dean. So, this is the first design I did of him. I'm not the biggest fan of this design anymore. Especially the hair. So he basically lived on the streets in 1940s Chicago. And he died from food poisoning when he was busy stealing. I guess with the hands I tried to do poison going through his veins. But now I think it's pretty unnecessary. Here is the second design that I did of him, and it does look better. I love the hat I gave him. His markings on his face actually does look like a raccoon, which is what species he is. And I especially loved, back then, I loved the pants because they looked like raccoon legs. But I felt like something was missing. So, time for the new design. So, like always, I like to search up references for my character designs. I mean, that's honestly the obvious thing to do because we need references when we're doing characters like this, I wanted him to have a proper snoot. So I drew a circle where I wanted it to go. And then I drew it. I decided to give him a sweater, one you can see in the corner next to the reference of Dean. because that was a sweater back then. I don't think he would care about how he would look, so I decided to like make it all scruffy. Another thing I made scruffy was the hair, which, by the way, yes, I did make it longer and I am keeping it because, one, guys with long hair are low-key really hot, and two, he grew up like without any care, so he wouldn't care about the hair. I also scruffed up the fur on his body. I really made sure that the face markings actually look like what of a raccoon. I have no idea what I just said, but just making sure that the face markings actually do look like a raccoon, because I don't want it to just look like my first attempt, which was pretty bad. He is absolutely keeping the hat. No one is telling me otherwise. I'm not a big fan of the claws that I drew for him before, so I decided to have the claws being paws with sharp nails. I guess they are still claws, but they look way better than what I did because they look way better for this type of character. And I didn't want to use the green color that I originally had, so I went with this really cute color that I really love. So, here is the new design for Dean. Next up is the next character of our main crew, Silas. I do like the designs that I went with, so I kept the patterns I like going through the different designs, but with some small changes. Let's start with the first one, which is this one right here. This crow boy was in 1890s London, so yes, he is British.
Right, I'll tell you what, you fat
Okay, so, trigger warning for demonic cults. He was in one when he was alive. He did fortune telling and rituals. So, yeah. That's the reason why he's in hell. I thought the wings' arms would look cool, but I'm not a big fan of them anymore. It's like the most obvious thing to do when you're making a half-bird character. Which, familiar stuff isn't that bad, but I want to do something unique with him. So this is what I did with the second design. I thought it would look cool if the capelet, I think that's what it's called, around his chest or back, I have no idea. What if that was actually his wings and they could just spread out when he's ready to fly? And of course, when he is not flying, he could just curl them up to his chest and then boom, it'll look like part of his clothing when actually it's part of him. Pretty cool, isn't it? Another thing I did is change the symbol on his forehead. I just simply wanted it to be an eye because, one, it shows his intelligence, but also, two, I didn't want an actual demonic symbol in case it falls into stereotypes, like with that one controversy with Alistair. Anyways, time for the new design. Okay, so you might have noticed that I haven't been talking about the other parts of his design. Well, the reason for that is because, I do like what I was going for, and since he's going to be similar to what I was doing, then, I'm going to explain it here. His face and beak was inspired by Plague Doctor masks. I know that they were in hold on. In 1619 or something. But, so like way before his time period. But, do I care? Nah! Some sinners in my show sometimes completely take the form of animals but move like humans, while some have some human aspects but with some animal aspects. This is especially true for Silas with his legs and his beak nose. You may notice in the original picture that his coat looks like a skirt. Well, it's not actually. He just has really thick thighs. I definitely imagine that Dean would call it a skirt. They have an enemies to lovers relationship, so yeah, in the beginning he would definitely call it a skirt. Also, later I shortened the beak. I love how crow-like his legs are now. Like, before I decided to make them into regular boots, but this actually looks better. I love the hair I made him. Like, it's really pointed at the back. It really shows his sharp personality, but then there's this little swoop in the front, and that's just so cute. And before you ask, his main color is either black or purple. They really fit him either way. I added some more feathers, and yes, I'm still keeping the cape wings. I could have just called it a cape in the beginning. And also, I may or may not have drew how it would look with his wings spread out. Here's the picture. Sorry if it looks like dookie. It's the best I could do. I really wanted him to look all mysterious and a bit serious. Oh gosh, that was rhyming. But yeah, I really wanted that vibe to cross through his design. I added a few more touches, and then he is all done. Here is the new design for Silas. Let's get to the crew's captain, Thaddeus. So, with this old design, well, I had the ideas, but it didn't really translate well. Like, I thought the barnacle shoulder pads looked cool, but too much clutter. And yeah, there was stuff that I needed to improve on. This was his next design. So, it was alright. But then I had a certain change of plans. Originally, he was a sailor from the 1700s in Scotland. And then his children died. He went on a rampage and drowned. It was lame, but I stuck to that idea. But then in college, we were watching Pirates of the Caribbean. I think you guys can tell where this is going. I made him into a pirate instead. And before, I was thinking that some sinners are humanoid and some are animals, but then I decided to make them all animals because I feel like it. So with that all out the way, let's get into his brand new design. I thought it would be cute if Thaddeus was a dog, and then I chose a Scottish Terrier. First reason being that he's Scottish, but the second reason is because that in the movies, there, I don't know which one, but there is a dog who is a terrier. So I went with a Scottish Terrier. I also think that the fur around his face make a little beard and mustache, and I think that is just so cute. I love it so much. His feet look like little boots, and I love that so much. And before you ask, his hands are like the same color as the boots' feet. What is wrong with me? And I may or may not have changed his death. So this is another thing inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean. He's gonna be executed. Yep, I'm just ripping it off now. And later you'll see that around his neck he has a rope, you know. He'll have a rope that is like tied around his neck of where he was executed, and it's gonna like look like a little scarf. I really love his coat and his hair. I had this really cool idea that it like flows mid-air like it's underwater, which I thought of in the beginning because it would look like it was underwater because he drowned. Which, even though that has changed, I'm still gonna keep it because he was still a pirate and he did sail on the sea. You know, I gotta keep that, okay? One of his eyes are black, and no, that's not symbolism of someone punching him in the face and giving him a black eye. I mean that probably when he was on his rampage, which he still has, I still imagine that he still had children that died and he went on a rampage and was executed for it. But yeah, so like when he was on that rampage, his eye kind of came out, and now he only has one eye, which would be like look like a lantern, which I think looks so cool. And before you ask, his other eye is going to be a completely different character. Here's a picture of him. His name is Mini Sailor. I imagine he would have a heavier Scottish accent and a grumpy attitude. Honestly, it would be super cute if Mini Sailor is just chilling on Thaddeus's shoulder. I mean, they're buddies. They're buddies, but he refuses to admit it. He's so cute. I'm really proud of this design. He looks so cute and so cool and lovable. And well, here is his design. There are like 4 more members of the crew. So let's get to the next one. I mean 2. Coco and Mari. These 2 are twin sisters and they died in France. I'm not a big fan of these designs anymore. At first, I wanted them to be from the 2000s, but then I decided to change it to the 80s. I know that's an overrated thing with people or things taking place in the 80s, but I think it works for these 2. And at first I wanted them to be these like girls that were flirty with boys and died from a car accident, but then that backstory changed. So here's the designs that I did next. I really want their designs to mirror each other while still having their own identity, which you will see later on. Originally, they were rag dolls, you know, with the sewing needle legs that I thought were super cool. They could be like weapons, like similar to Carmilla Carmine's ballet shoes, you know? You get what I mean? These designs are alright, but I think these new designs are way better. Let's get to the new designs. Please ignore the color palettes because I end up not using them. I just used the original colors. Anyways, there are 2 changes I made to their bodies. 1, they're changed from rag dolls to wooden puppets. And 2, they are now cats. The reason why they are cats is because it's inspired by my childhood favorite musical, Hamilton. No, of course it's Cats. Not this Cats, this Cats. The reason why is because for their new backstory, they were once theater kids in Paris. I think it will be Paris. Yeah, I feel like that would be a great setting. They were once theater kids, and their theater instructor wasn't really that nice to them, so they kind of killed him. And then after that, they died from exhaustion, from the abuse and the struggle. A problem I have with Hazbin Hotel is how they handle the female characters. With Hell of a Boss, it's character writing wise, all the men have these deep backstories and struggles, while the girls just serve the men's story. With Hazbin Hotel, it's character design wise, with all the men being different animals. Heck, Fox is even a TV head, but the girls just look all human. So these 2 are going to have their own story. Even though they are twins, Coco sees herself as the older sister, and she's kind of protective over Mari, who is more gentler and a bit more sensitive. Coco is willing to keep her sister safe, while Mari wants to be more independent and actually make up decisions on her own. And Coco needs to accept that. And even when they aren't together, they truly love each other, and that's what truly makes them sisters. I love that so much. Yes, Mari does fall in love with another male character, but Coco and Mari's story is about their sisterhood and not about the men. And yeah, they are the only girls in the main crew, but in my opinion, it's okay to have more guys than girls in a main group, or vice versa. But what matters is that they are all great, interesting characters. Anyways, back to their designs. I really leaned into them having more mime inspiration because they are associated with theater, and I really wanted to push that. I want them to share some features, like with some of their clothing having white stripes, and with the color of their hair, and with their face. Coco's main color is pink, but her sclera, tear markings, and nose are blue. And Mari's main color is blue, but her sclera, tear markings, and nose are pink. I was thinking about making their lipstick their opposite colors, like with the sclera and tear markings, but cats with lipstick low-key look really weird, so I scrapped that. Another thing I like is their different hair looks. Like, Coco has shorter hair and is shaved on the sides, while Mari's hair is longer and tied. I love these designs. They look so adorable. I just want to hug them so badly. Anyways, so here are the designs. What do you think? those two count as 2 members. So for our 3rd member, we have Barrow. This was his first design, and I don't love it anymore. A lot of things feel disconnected, and I wanted the orange to be the main color for him. So yeah. So here's my 2nd attempt. Okay, I get what I was going for, but So Barrow died in 1850s Mexico, and he was raised in a family where he was expected to be traditionally masculine. It was a family thing about all the men being bullfighters, and they would have to kill a bull, and he didn't want to do that because he has more gentle traits. Bro, this is literally the Book of Life. Anyways, time for me to show you the new design. So I decided to change his outfit from the bullfighting outfit to this Mexican casual outfit because he died from that bull he was supposed to kill, and after that I imagine he wouldn't want to open that door again, as it's just brought back really bad memories. So he changed his outfit into something that he likes. And yes, because he died from a bull and he was meant to kill bulls, he became a bull. One of his horns are crooked because throughout his life he's been the odd one out, what I'm trying to say is that he didn't really follow the mold of being traditionally masculine. All he wanted to do is just be all cuddly and make tamales for everyone, which is seen as a feminine thing, especially from when he was born and when he died. I found this nice color palette of pinkish red, yellow, and orange that I really like, so I decided to go with that with his outfit, while his face, which we'll get to later, is more bright. I gave him a hat, which I think he's just so cute in. I really love his feet. It really looks like heels, and it really leans into the whole not really traditionally masculine thing that I'm trying to go for. And I'm definitely balancing it with the body, which is all muscular looking. So yeah. And he originally had a nose ring because some bulls have nose rings, but I don't think it works for him as a character, so I scrapped it. Now with his face, I decided to go with a Day of the Dead type of vibe. It looks like the skulls from Mexican culture. The Day of the Dead is like a special day where they celebrate death. Yeah, he has a Day of the Dead aspect. Day of the Dead is literally the Book of Life. Since I mentioned the Book of Life, I definitely imagine Barrow being voiced by the same voice actor as Manolo from the Book of Life, because bullfighting, oh my gosh. Hey, even look at this.
Heaven knows your name. I've been praying to have you come here by my side.
Also, I definitely imagine him being into romance and stuff, which, by the way, he's Arrow Ace, but still. Anyways, here is the final design for Barrow. Time for our last crew member, Marlowe. So this was his first design. I tried to go with something that is creepy and a bit goofy, but I fumbled the bag so hard, like harder than that one time when I saw my mom. Anyways, he doesn't really look that good anymore. Like, I had the ideas, but so this was the second design. So basically, he died in 1920s in New Orleans, and he was a serial killer. Not Alistair. And his death was self-inflicted. And then he went to hell, and he's now a mosquito. And by the way, this little guy is the best mosquito in the entire world, and I will hear no arguments against that. Anyways, I tried to give him 4 legs, but it looks weird. Let's get to the new design now. I changed the 4 legs to 2 legs, and he's gonna have these 2 tails, like, attached to his butt. Like, you know that thing that the mosquito that I have kind of has, like, it looks like tails, so I want to make it into that. Since he's a mosquito, I am keeping his massive antenna, and his nose is really long. Like the picture shown in the corner, you can see that has these white spots. So just know I love freckles, so I made them into freckles. No one can stop me. A big problem in Hazbin Hotel is that the color red is too repetitive. Meanwhile, in my show, Marlowe is the only one with red in his design because, well, red is the color of blood, and he was a serial killer. If anyone is to have red in their design, it's him. Since he doesn't have any wings, his bow tie looks like mosquito wings. It looks really cute, in my opinion. Anyway, so Marlowe plays jazz.
You like jazz?
Shut up, Barry. No one was talking to you. He likes crawling on ceilings. His head can, like, spin around. He also likes to watch you sleep. Honestly, the reason why he was killing before in life is because he was addicted to that feeling of being in control. I think this really makes him into a great character because he isn't a serial killer because he was abused or anything. Neither was he a serial killer just for the sake of it. I want his character to be empathetic and sweet, you know, to show that he wants to change as a person. So yeah, that's Marlowe and his design. What do you think? Let me know. So that was the characters, but what is the story about? I'll tell you. Sails Across the Pentagram follows the main character, Dean. He's kind of a rascal and he likes stealing, but his soul is owned by an overlord who takes his youth, and the way he does that is by abusing him and SAing him. But one night, an overlord named Thaddeus found Dean and brought him onto the ship. On the ship, he meets Coco and Mari, Barrow, Marlowe, and Silas. Season 1 would be Dean and the audience getting to know all the characters. And then later seasons would be expanding on the lore and the world. In Season 1, the 2 canon ships in the main crew is going to be Dean and Silas, which is called Bandit Crow. And there's also Mari and Marlowe, whose ship name is Marmar. Yeah, Mari chooses this guy. The show will handle serious topics like SA abuse and other stuff, and it will do so in a respectful way that I will try my best not to offend anyone. And I'm going to be trying my best with this show as I am really passionate about it. At first it was going to be a what if I wrote the concept of Hazbin Hotel video. But now I'm really passionate about this project and I really want to give it a go and make it an actual show. Just know that this show is going to be based on biblical lore, just like Hazbin Hotel, but it's going to have my own story with my own characters and my own world building. I'm so excited to start this journey. I'm probably gonna go search for animators and extra writers, as I can't really animate and I might need some extra help with the writing. I can't do everything myself and I really want this project to be animated. If you want to support this project, then subscribe to this channel for extra updates, and also follow my 2 Instagram accounts. One that is about my channel and the second one is about Sails Across the Pentagram. I think this is a great show to start my story writing journey, and I can't wait. Oh, and I'm starting a new Discord server about this show. I'm still getting it ready, but I'm sure it'll be a great place for us to chat, and also if you wanna be part of the project. If you watched till the end of the video, thank you so much for listening. If you don't like my show, that's cool. And if you like it, then I am so happy. And again, I'm not trying to make this show better than Hazbin. This is just my own interpretation of hell. Anyways, that's enough for me today. Bye!